is up, YouTube? This is Bootney Farnsworth. That's right, Bootney Farnsworth. This commentary today is a follow-up of my last video, What is Mixed Martial Arts? In that video I discussed how mixed martial arts started. I discussed the Gracie Family, Brazilian Jujitsu, and the martial artists that I enjoyed growing up. And one of my subscribers asked me, why did I leave Bruce Lee out? And how he would have loved to see a Jeet Kun Do practitioner fight in the UFC. Jeet Kun Do is the art that Bruce Lee developed. Now to that subscriber, I left Bruce Lee out intentionally, as I was a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and I think that he was the greatest martial artist to ever live. And early on in the sport of mixed martial arts, there have been Jeet Kun Do practitioners fight in MMA. Unfortunately, they got taken down and submitted like all the rest. But Bruce was not like all the rest. You said he was the greatest martial artist to ever live. Yes, he was the greatest martial artist to ever live, in my opinion. In his art of Jeet Kun Do, you gotta understand, Bruce's art was more of a philosophy, an idea. He originally started in the traditional style of Kung Fu, and like many styles, he felt that they were limited. Ultimately, as a martial artist, your goal is to defend yourself, and that's an idea. And eventually, that idea becomes a style, and that style becomes a law. And Bruce was on a journey for what I call the martial arts truth. And that journey is simple, the most effective way to defend oneself. Because isn't that ultimately what the goal of martial arts is? Despite what label you give your art, despite where it came from, despite the different variations, if it works, you keep it. If it doesn't, you get rid of it. Bruce studied all forms of combat art, from boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, you name it, even ground fighting. And he incorporated into his art of Jeet Kun Do. Now the ironic thing is, after his untimely death, a lot of Jeet Kun Do instructors took his idea, put it in a box just like all the other traditional martial arts, totally missing Bruce's point. I think it's human nature to label ourselves, put ourselves in boxes, and only see the world from that perspective. Sounds like religion to me! Yeah, but I'll discuss that in another commentary. Now, with all that being said, I think if Bruce hadn't passed, and he found out about Gracie Jujitsu, I think he would have went to Brazil, he would have trained, got submitted several times, but eventually, I think he would have earned his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt after seeing the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I also think he would have loved the UFC, as high-level athletes are morphing into complete fighters, complete MMA fighters. You know, back in the day, the UFC was billed as, you know, boxer versus kickboxer, wrestler versus karate guy. But now it's getting to the point where labels and titles don't matter, which essentially is what Bruce was trying to convey. Now, had Bruce competed in the UFC with the knowledge he had before he died, unfortunately, he had just touched the surface of the effect of ground fighting. And this wouldn't have been enough. He would have got taken down and submitted. Well, this concludes Bootney's assessment of Bruce Lee and the UFC, which I think total bullshit. What you should have did is a show enough in the UFC. Show enough, the Shogun of Harlem.
Am I the meanest?
Show enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Show enough.
Boy, I love that movie. You know what? Unk. Yeah? There's a 2-for-1 at Shady Lady tonight. You know I'm abstaining from alcohol. Abstaining? Since when? What time is it? Anyway, alright guys. Let me know what you think about the commentary, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is Bootney Farnsworth, the only pugilistic COD commentator in the business.
This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.